Welcome everyone. Today we're sitting in a studio on the lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We acknowledge them as traditional custodians of the country on which we're meeting today. We recognise their continuing connection to the land and waters and thank them for protecting this beautiful area and its ecosystem since time immemorial. We pay respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all First Nations people present today. So hi, and thanks for attending our session this morning. My name's Tim Sheedy. I'm an analyst and advisor and head of research for Ecosystem. We're a technology research firm specialising in helping technology decisions in the Asia Pacific region. Today, we're running a webinar called Maximising ROI, Strategies for Embracing Public Cloud Services for Mid-Enterprise Environments. So creating a modern digital business is top of mind for Australian organisations. Even as we move into this period of economic uncertainty, most Australian organisations are really continuing to accelerate that transformation with the aim to emerge from this slowdown as leaner, more agile, faster, more innovative organisations. The challenge, particularly for mid-market enterprises, is to make that transition away from legacy systems, often held together with gaffer tape and prayers, towards ones which enable them to be innovative, but also to protect them from the bad actors and cyber threats. Today, we're fortunate to not only have two people from Interactive, a company that makes this magic happen in their own clients, Helen Stefanis and Michael Smith, but we also have Ben Allwood, the CIO of the IPD Group, an organisation that made the transition from a legacy business to one with both eyes firmly focused on the future. He'll be sharing his story today with us, what and all, and providing some insights in how you can make this transition inside your own organisation. Over the next 20 or 30 minutes, we'll be discussing how IPD and Interactive are working together to create that future-ready business. And that's the real takeaway that I'd like to start and probably finish with, is that this is about a partnership. You know, we all have companies that work with us as service providers, but when you have a true partnership, you have the ability to create a better organisation that's much more fit to be successful in the future. Now, we're going to have a chance for audience Q&A towards the end of the session. So please submit the questions in the Ask Questions or Q&A panel on the screen in front of you. We'll endeavour to get them all answered, but if we actually run out of time, you have our guarantee that we will get back to you after the session with an answer to your question. But before we jump into the discussion, Helen, Michael and Ben, can you please take a few minutes to introduce your organisations and yourselves, a bit about your roles and how you help your clients achieve their goals. Helen, starting with yourself.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everyone. I'm Helen Stefanis. I'm Interactive's General Manager of Customer Experience. Firstly, Interactive is a technology solutions provider. We deliver a suite of consulting and managed services for our customers across multi-cloud, cybersecurity, data centres, hardware maintenance, business continuity, and more. Basically, it's the end-to-end technology that someone needs to succeed these days. And the cherry on top of all that technology is our unbelievable team. We keep technology human, and just like Michael, our expert, they make it all work for our customers. In terms of my role, I'm responsible for the services that we provide our customers. I look after teams. I have the privilege of leading teams across engineering, infrastructure engineers, dedicated service desk, service delivery management, and service management to ensure that our services are delivered to our customers.
Cool. Thanks, Helen. Michael.
Thanks, Tim. Good morning, everyone. So I'm a cloud architect at Interactive. I work in the digital transformation space, which is part of the broader cloud and managed services team alongside Helen. So what my role is to basically work with our customers to understand their business requirements, convert those to technical solutions, and then going forward, work with them on their cloud journey to help them out moving into the future.
Cool, thanks. And the star of the show today, Ben.
Yeah, hey everyone. My name's Ben Allwood. I'm the CIO of IPD Group. So we're a business that is predominantly in the distribution of electrical goods for industry. So whether it be switchboards or automation control devices, HVAC systems, OT cybersecurity. That's our primary business. But we also have businesses in services around HV and MV, installation, engineering, construction, maintenance. And we also have a new kid on the block, Gemtech, which does end-to-end electric vehicle charging infrastructure. The business has been around in Australia for about 70 years in one form or another, and has been delivering to every part of the Australian economy for that time. But over the last few years, we've really put our M&A hat on and really started to grow through acquisition. And in that time, we've acquired the Adelaide business, we've acquired the ControlLogic business, HTC business, and Gemtech. And that's a lot that's happened in that short period of time. And also, about 2 years ago, we went public as well. We listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. So a fair bit going on.
Absolutely. So we'll stick with you for the next couple of questions.
Sure.
Knowing that little bit more about IPD, can you help us understand the state of the business and the technology before you set out on this partnership with Interactive?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of growth. Some of that's organic growth, which is fantastic, but those acquisitions really changed the paradigm too. So we've gone from having a relatively large small business to getting a whole heap of small businesses and putting together to make a medium-sized business, which then is listed. And one of the challenges of a small business is, any business only has the systems and processes and governance it can afford, and a small business can't really afford that much. So you end up with some legacy systems. You end up with things that probably aren't suitable for a medium listed enterprise. And that was the situation we were in. We had several businesses come together, and they all had their organically grown systems. A lot of their systems were end of life, very legacy, all on-prem, nothing talked to anything. And we had to try and make something which looked good on paper, function really well, but not only that, allow us to establish a really solid foundation to build the business up and to really start growing and giving us the ability to really leverage all these businesses, which had a lot of synergies, and really get them working together. So that's where we started, and that's when I came into this role about 3 years ago, just a bit under, I think. And my job was to try and bring everything together. And I realized that to do that, I know where I wanted to go, but I didn't really understand how I could get there, and more importantly, how I could communicate to the executives and the board and the leadership of the business what the path we would take would look like and what it would cost, and more importantly. And that's when, working with the Interactive cyber team, actually, they suggested to me, well, have you considered using a NIST assessment to get an outcome here? And that was a bit of a light bulb moment, and we went and did that. We went and did an 853, I think it is, audit. And that was great because it touched every part of our business. Because one of the things we're really worried about when we integrate our business is we don't want to take away the things that make each of our business units special, why people come to them. But we want to really capture the synergies that we get across everything. And this, surprisingly, actually gave us really good understanding of what those important things were, but helped us also understand the holes. And that was great. And it did it in a way of a standard risk assessment. So, we had likelihood, consequence, and a risk. And with that, and we take that and we couple that with our risk appetite of the business, we can create a mitigation strategy. And working with the Interactive team, we did that. We created mitigation strategies to really take us to the next level and stabilize our business.
Cool. So understanding that next level is, I guess, the next part of the conversation. How did you actually solve those business and technology challenges in that partnership with Interactive? What was the solution that they proposed or you proposed together, and how successful was that transition and migration to your new operating environment?
Yeah, so the first thing was we realised we needed to stabilise the environment. That was the first thing. We were putting out fires. My IT team was spending all of their time putting out fires. We had hardware falling over all the time, fixing reports, fixing broken stuff. And so we realized we needed to get everything and get it into the same platform. And we wanted, at the time, I wanted to go to private cloud. And I had Interactive and some other partners as well look at what it would cost to go into the private cloud. Now, Interactive came back to us and gave us some pricing on private cloud, but also because we'd worked together with them with creating this NIST assessment, what was really good about that is they said, look, we've been working with you on creating this. We understand where you're trying to go. You're not going to get that going to private cloud because there's some really cool stuff that's happening in the Microsoft space right now that isn't happening anywhere else, that given your very bespoke requirements will give you a better outcome and help you manage vulnerabilities and help you do all these other things that you want to do and better align with your overall objectives. And that was a pretty cool approach. And that was when I went, oh, this is a team who actually wants to work with me and not just stick something in a box and collect a paycheck every week. And that was quite good. I think that was really the start of when we went, okay, yep, let's work with you guys.
Fantastic. So look, as a reminder, if you've got any questions for Ben, Helen or Michael, please submit them through the Ask Question box on your screen. Now, Helen, it feels like a great time to bring you in. We've heard about IPD and their challenges from Ben's perspective. I'd like to now hear it from yours. Is this what you see in a lot of your clients, their challenges?
Very much so. I guess ageing infrastructure is one of the common problems and common drivers to make a difference. A lot of organisations are susceptible to vulnerabilities and production outages as a result. So I guess getting that stability is something that they want and we want to help them achieve. Productivity, staff engagement, a couple of things that always get hindered when there's production outages. So I guess working with them to define an end result, whether it's a roadmap, a strategy or an outcome, like a brand new environment is what our forte is. And I guess working with Ben and the team, helping them on that journey to understand how different it'll be. That's really important as well with all our customers, them understanding, how different it is to manage cost, consumption, and where they can be more efficient in how they run their business. Our customers see us as a safe pair of hands. I think, we do so much to ensure that we've got the right people working with our customers. Many people want a lift and shift, but I guess it's working with them on their journey to transform, transition, and obviously reap the benefits in the end.
Yep. So, Michael, I'll come to you now. And as Helen's saying that a lot of customers are moving to the cloud. They want this lift and shift. It's becoming more common as they're looking for business resiliency, also looking for innovation, being able to do things differently going forward. What were the significant hurdles and challenges for IPD and Interactive in that transition from their own private cloud into a public cloud environment? And what should viewers be considering as they start to plan out their own migration into a hyperscaler?
Sure. So what we see with a lot of customers, and we did see it with IPD as well, is they don't understand their environment. So, it's grown organically. They sort of understand their main applications, but there's a lot of stuff around the edges that they don't quite know what it does and if they need to take it with them. So what we did with IPD is we threw in an appliance into their environment that measured all their network traffic, all their compute and CPU usage on their virtual machines, and we were able to determine, okay, these applications are doing this, and from that we can build out a cost model for public cloud and also private cloud to say, hey, this is what you actually need, and this is what it would look like going forward for the next 12 months or so. As these businesses grow, obviously the costs change, but we try to do that. And with the lift and shift model, what we're able to do is quickly convert those on-premise environments into cloud environments. So, 6 to 12 weeks is what we usually say to migrate with a lift and shift.
I think what's really important too is for someone like myself who had a business that was very legacy and had some very old hardware in play. What you don't realise is that when you go and stabilise your environment and you get it running in a nice happy place, all of a sudden you end up with your IT team who has spent the last year or 2 or 3 years of their life just running around proactively putting out reactively putting out fires. They've got the ability to actually stop and take a second and go, hang on a minute, how can we actually make this place better? And that was a pivotal change for our business. That was massive because we could then go, oh look, we've actually got some time to stop and think. How can we make things better? How can we now leverage some of this Microsoft infrastructure, this Azure infrastructure in the M365 environment to get a better outcome for our internal business and ultimately our customers? And for us, it was, okay, well, now we've got time. Let's migrate all of our tenants together, our 365 tenants, which is a great story in itself. And working with Interactive, we were able to deliver that project to the business for about, I think it was about a fifth of the value that Microsoft said, and it was a very big number that Microsoft said. And that was by working together to front-end engineer a solution and then deliver in a low risk to both business way. And that was fantastic. It was a great outcome, and I do thank them still for that. But we brought together multiple Dynamics 365 environments. We migrated all of our SharePoint solutions from on-prem to cloud. We brought everything into the same place and made it accessible to all the right people in the business at the right time. And it totally changed our data-driven decision-making capability within our business.
Look, it's a common story we hear, as an analyst speaking to customers, that the benefits delivered by public cloud services in particular are things that were never even in the business case, right? They're things that you suddenly can do because you have that capacity.
Yes, so what we like to say is, you don't want to just lift and shift and then leave and that's it. It's a journey. So, as I mentioned, we talk to our customers about a cloud journey. So as part of that, we look to do things like implementing FinOps with our customers. So we use a tool called Cloud Health, and that allows us to have a sort of visibility of the costs of their environment, sort of day to day. So near real time, we can see, hey, your costs are spiking today. What's going on? And we can call that out. And it also allows us to go into sort of cost optimization activities. So, are there resources that aren't being used? Are these resources the right size? And these resources have been running for 6 months, so they're expected to run for the next 3 years without much change. Can we do a reservation on the compute on those to save costs?
And from my side, that's been a really useful tool. So when we migrated all of our stuff from on-prem, which was now running in Azure IaaS, and we started to move that across into M365, we ended up with a whole heap of servers which were essentially oversized. And working with the Interactive team, we then scaled them to suit the actual applications we had left, and we did other things too, like we worked with your databasing teams who understood Azure databasing solutions better to move some of our stuff into PaaS databases rather than where they were. Michael was very helpful with that, thank you. And we consolidated SQL servers and a whole heap of other things like that. Really got more value. I think we ended up, rough numbers, about 80% of our predicted cost for the Azure spend where we were at the time. So that was really, really positive. It was a good news story.
So what are the considerations from a skills and culture change perspective in this migration to public cloud? I imagine that there's a lot of change that you have to manage and sort of continue to manage going forward.
Yeah. So I guess the big thing that people don't tell you is when you go to migrate to the public cloud is people, especially when you're going from legacy systems. If you've got people that have been running in legacy systems for 15 years, you've got a technology debt that exists not only in the silicon, but in the people as well. And those people need to be brought on a journey, and they need to be trained, and they need to be brought up to understand how this modern workplace works, because it's a different paradigm. It works completely different, and you can't go and do a lift and shift without the optimization, and you can't maintain that solution without your people understanding. So one of the things that my team do with the Interactive team is a lot of knowledge transfer. So the Interactive team, my team will come to the Interactive team and say, hey, we want to do this. And they come back and say, well, you could, But if you did it this way, you're going to be able to leverage this. You're going to be able to use some of the really cool features that are coming down the roadmap. I think a lot of the stuff we're doing as we go forward in refactoring a lot of our internal applications, Michael and team have been very helpful with recommending ways that we handle API gateways and making sure that we are using some of the newer facilities in the solutions. It's been really helpful.
Yeah. So touching on that, I mean, you don't want to spend your engineers' time learning how to migrate. That's something that's going to happen in your business maybe once, maybe twice. So, bringing in people who can do that for you, and then you can train them on the skills that they actually need to do their job day to day. So that's where we try to work with Ben's team. So, we identify that, their application, they need to work on a firewall, a web firewall, and be able to put custom rules on how they access their applications. So we help train them on, okay, this is the process to do that, and these are what the impacts are, in terms of cost and everything else.
So it's been mentioned a lot. I started with at the beginning, we're talking about the partnership. That's sort of, what really made this happen. Helen, I'll come to you on this. This partnerships, it's helped them, it's continuing to help them provide the business outcomes and the innovation that they desire. What is it that you think Interactive does differently? Sort of what's the special sauce that Interactive's actually created to help IPT, as an example, and the rest of your customers, drive those outcomes that they're looking to drive at the pace and that they require?
Sure. I think building trust is one of the key foundations, and in a partnership, honesty and integrity, and I guess being able to have those difficult conversations when you need to, that's paramount. And I think partnership is all about that mindset as well, making sure that there's a balanced view of how something gets done. And I think it works both ways. So some of our customers are less mature in managing or dealing with managed service providers. So it's about encouraging them or teaching them, I guess, walking with them on that journey on partnering from a managed service perspective. I guess above and beyond everything, it's the relationship, it's the people behind everything, and our people make the difference.
Fantastic. So look, I'm now actually going to open up 2 questions from the audience. I know we've got a couple here in the panel already, so I'll jump straight into the questions now. I've got one here from Gunnar, I think, and sorry as I look down through my multifocals at the screen. How did you run the change management with your users as you shifted many things at once? For some users, it might have been quite disruptive compared to what they were used to doing. So I know you've touched this already, but if you can give a few more examples.
Yeah, look,
around that.
so that's a very good question. And change management is about one thing over everything else: communicate. And then when you don't do that, you also need to communicate. When we're going through that major integration part of our journey, that was quite epic, and we had an integration manager actually assigned in the business, and they were responsible for change management. It was something that we took very seriously, and for every different thing we were doing, we'd assign in every different business unit, no matter what it was, we'd find someone who was like the champion of that, and someone who there was typically 1 or 2 people who are early adopters in every business unit you can find somewhere. We would utilize those people, and we would get them to be the go-to person, and we would train them up as required. So whether that's a migration to Teams, whether it's a 365 migration, for a lot of the things we did, it was back-end stuff. So in regards to merging 365 tenants, most of that stuff, the users didn't even know it happened. Massive amount of work to make it happen, but the users, we made it a seamless experience from the users, so they didn't know. And the same with a lot of the stuff with dynamics and things. Apart from a URL, but we were using Intune MDM to push out new links to their their PCs, so we could manage it that way. So, but for us, it was about constant communication, sitting into meetings, doing user training, and then providing a place where the users could go to get direct access to someone in authority to either show them what's going on or to vent concerns. But look, and I won't say it went out flawlessly with every single thing. I haven't been involved with a single piece of change management that does, but we got there in the end. And I think the key thing is we had a business that had common values that were driving towards it. They could understand why we're going there, and we had good partners to rely on to help us get there.
Cool. Thank you. And once again, if you've got any questions, please put them in the Ask Questions or Q&A panel on the screen in front of you. A question I'm going to just throw to Interactive now. So you probably have clients or prospects that are interested in making these migrations to public cloud, but it might be a one voice in the business, and they might not feel they have support of their board or their CEO, etc. What are the things that you guys do to help your clients build that business case to drive the what are significant but important changes for businesses?
Sure. So I guess one of the things that everyone wants is, especially these days, is data-based decisions. So getting the data to provide to the board is always helps with those decisions, right? So we can come in and do a cloud readiness assessment or similar sort of event, which will go, okay, this is what your environment looks like. This is what it will look like in private cloud. This is what it'll look like if you stay as you are. This is what it'll look like if you move to Azure or AWS. And we give you that data so that you can go to your board or your CEO or whoever you need to go to and go, right, these are the numbers. We can stay as we are, but we're going to lose all these opportunities and it's going to cost us this much. And I guess as part of that, we also want to look at, how is that funded? So, with the cloud partners, with Microsoft especially, we get an offset on the costs of migration, for example. So, Microsoft will often come to us and go, or we'll go to Microsoft and go, we've got this migration that our customers want to do. How much can you fund for us? Because they want to help us get them into cloud as well.
And look, I think someone must have followed one of the links on the site to Interactive site, because I've got a question talking about the CloudFlex solution.
Yep.
Can one of you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So CloudFlex is sort of our product that is an extension to your team. So we can come in and do a straight consulting. Here's what you get. Here's what you want. But a lot of our customers, and IPD is an example, they want to have a partnership there. So we have a sort of 2 to 4 person team, depending on the size that you get. So we've got different t-shirt sizes for what you need. And we can come in, we work with your teams, we find out what your problems are, and in an agile way, we will put people on those tasks to work through them as you need.
Yeah, it's actually been quite useful for us. One of the things that you go to a larger CSP, MSP for is the fact that they've got the depth and the breadth to understand what's going on. They've got the relationships with the AWSs and the Microsofts and the Googles, and they've got everyone on speed dial when you need them. So when I want to do something, I don't have an infinite team. I like to be able to pull on someone who does and has that expertise in a particular area. So whether that's I'm doing a migration to SD-WAN, whether it's I need to roll out a new vulnerability management solution or a new SIEM, Interactive have supported me through all those sort of things using their CloudFlex product.
Fantastic. So we're coming to the end of the session now. So now it's over to you to do some research, find out a little bit more. On the panel in front of you, there are a number of links to offers and content. If you want to find out more about IPD and the IPD Group, there's a link to IPD. If you want to find out more about Interactive, there's a link to Interactive. Highly recommend that you follow that one. And particularly related to the fact that they have a special offer today Interact is offering viewers of the session today a complimentary cloud optimization assessment, including a demo of Cloud Health that a number of them discussed already today. So please follow the link, fill in the form or put your information in. Someone will be out in contact with you shortly. But thank you very much again for your time. I appreciate that you are all very busy, so thanks for taking time out of your schedule. Thanks Ben, Helen, Michael for today, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.